Multiple Penguins updates as the revolving door of goaltenders continues. Kris Letang had some comments after the loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And even though Sidney Crosby continues to make history, the Penguins continue to be at the bottom of the standings. During the game yesterday against the Maple Leafs, the literal graphic said the Penguins are 9th in the Metropolitan Division. There are not even 9 teams in the Metropolitan Division. That tells you how rock bottom we are right now. And the Penguins just made another shocking move not even 10 minutes ago that I am very excited to be talking about on this show today. Penguins Digest. If you want to know what the breaking news is, you better stay tuned because I'm going to be talking about it in just a few short minutes. But first, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You're doing a lot better, guys. Almost 25% of you have subscribed to the channel. Let's get that closer to 100%. If you're watching these videos and you love the Penguins as much as I do, regardless of how bad we are, let's go ahead and hit that sub button and we will keep you up to date with daily Pittsburgh Penguins content, coverage, analysis, updates like we are today, any trades that happen, roster moves galore, and that's what we're expecting here leading up to the trade deadline. It's going to be a busy week in the NHL, and I'm very excited to be here with you guys talking about it. Let's first talk about the state of the Penguins, and then we will get into the breaking news. But first, the state of the Penguins, a place we did not see ourselves in at the beginning of the season. Some of you might say you did see this coming, but we are so low right now that we could not go any lower if we tried. At least I thought so until the roster move happened, and then we'll talk about that and why we might actually be able to go a little bit lower, guys. We might actually be able to go a little bit lower. So let's talk about the state of the Penguins because this is unbelievable. Where we're sitting right now is a place that I never thought I would have to see this team, and that's exactly where we sit. We are dead last in the Metropolitan Division, but let's look at the last couple games, okay? The game before the Four Nations face-off break, lost to the Flyers, a team we should beat. Since the Four Nations face-off break, this team has managed to win one game. One win. Should they have beat the Rangers? Absolutely. They didn't. Should they have beat the Bruins? Most likely. They didn't. This team is not going to win anything. And we're okay with that. We're to the point where we're okay with that. We're not trying to make a playoff spot anymore. We know that. We're being realists now. We're not being optimists anymore. We're being realists. We're looking toward the future. And right there is the state of the Penguins. Loss, 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 barely a win, loss, loss. Yesterday's game might as well have been a minor league hockey game with as many mistakes as I saw. I wanted to make a video for you guys. I couldn't. I broke down. I could not do it because that was just embarrassing. The goal with 0.1 seconds left. Wow. I mean, wow, guys. And now we're sitting with the second worst goal differential in the National Hockey League. Minus 50. The only team with a worse goal differential than the Penguins in the entire NHL is the San Jose Sharks. We have a worse goal differential than the Chicago Blackhawks right now. Can you... Oh my. Guys, I was going to talk about how I was looking forward to baseball season and how Pirates spring training is going really well. But no. The Penguins are in a terrible spot right now. The Steelers continue to disappoint us Pittsburgh fans. Now the Penguins are in the same boat, pretty much, except they're not making the playoffs. And you guys know the story about the Pirates, but it just sucks. And every city experiences this, but right now is our time. Right now is our time to experience the low of lows and not have a single team give us anything to be hopeful for. Again, I think the Pirates might be the most hopeful. And they don't even like to spend money. So for the Penguins, the state of the Penguins, all I can really say is rock bottom. And for those of you that still want to argue with me that this is rock bottom, I don't know what you're arguing. I don't know what you're going to argue, what your point is. This is rock bottom. This is what it looks like, guys. We're sitting here. We're going to deal with it. We're going to get through it. We got the draft picks. We got the prospects. And some of those prospects haven't looked so good, okay? I'm talking about Yoel Blomqvist. And that brings me to my next topic. The goalie debate never ends with this team. It never ends. Tristan Jarry was supposed to be the answer. He gets the contract. We bring in Ned. We call up Blomqvist. We have all these young guys, Larson, Murashov. It never ends. Who should be the guy? Who should be the guy? Jarry's sent down. He's called back up. He's sent down. And I have more news about Jarry here in this video, but we're not getting to that for another minute because first we have to talk about Blomqvist because, guys, I had this segment planned out before the news broke, so I'm going to keep it going the way that it was supposed to go and then just throw it at you when it happens, okay? So let's talk about Yoel Blomqvist because this dude, I was so hopeful about this dude. And he played so bad yesterday. And Mike Sullivan said this. Obviously, Joel's a young kid and he's trying to find his way in establishing in this league. He said this after the loss on Sunday, and it is a hard league. We realize that, and we're going to go through some ups and downs. Sullivan added that Blomqvist is no different than any other young kid that's trying to enter the league. He's trying to break in. He's trying to prove that he belongs, and he's facing a juggernaut team like the Toronto Maple Leafs that will shell you and take advantage of every single opportunity they are given, which they did. They only need a couple seconds. You turn the puck over with 5 seconds left, they're going to score with 0.1 seconds left. If the amount of turnovers, the amount of sloppy play, the amount of let's trade this opportunity for this opportunity, it's like they were trying to play overtime. It's like, okay, you guys have an odd man rush, a fast break this way, then we'll do it the other way, then you do it, then you do it. It was very entertaining, don't get me wrong, but very bad hockey. Very sloppy, very inconsistent. At least they fought. I could say that. They got down early and they fought back a little bit. I don't know how much more of that there's going to be, right? Kris Letang was asked after that game, hey, are you worried about being traded? And he said, no, it's a business. He said, I've known that since I was 21 years old. He told that to Pittsburgh Hockey Now, who was right there in the locker room with him after Erik Karlsson was talking about how stressful this trade deadline is. Well, we got to look a little bit further than that because we're talking about our future here. It's not even about selling off assets because this entire team is on the trade block at this point. At this point, everybody is available, but we still have to figure out this goaltending situation. And that means, should the Penguins bring back Tristan Jarry? That was a legit conversation that I was going to have with you guys today. Should Jarry be recalled because of Blomqvist struggling, because of Ned having a meltdown? Everything's going as far low as it could go. Like I said, this is rock bottom. We're seeing it. Things are not always going to go your way, but you need to reset a bit and stay ready. Stay the course. That's Blomqvist. A very professional answer, but there are levels to professional hockey. That's what the article continues to say. This article is from the New York Times, from The Athletic. That's fine. He shouldn't be ready, not yet. Cap space permitting, Dubas could recall Jarry after the trade deadline expires Friday. That's what they said. Here's the thing. They didn't tell you this. Jarry was already going to be recalled. The Penguins have seen enough. Dubas has seen enough. He is going to try to get a return on his investment, and that investment is Tristan Jarry. Tristan Jarry is back in the NHL for the Penguins. Blomqvist was sent back down to the AHL, and Tristan Jarry is now your starting goalie yet again, which is proof that everything I've said to this point, the Penguins are okay with losing. They are okay with tanking, and that's the first time I have ever been able to say that with confidence. Because some of these games they have lost lately, they should have won, but it's just not going their way. So when you start losing the games you should win, while also losing the games you should lose, then you're just losing every game. So there's no need to push the envelope any further, take any more risk, and ruin Yoel Blomqvist forever and ruin his confidence. Send him back to the AHL. Let him play meaningful hockey like we just saw in that article, play in the Calder Cup playoffs possibly, and give your team a chance to win a Calder Cup, because that's what the Penguins are going after right now. Their farm system might be better than their big league team for the first time I've ever been able to say that. So the prospects Dubas has brought in, the players we've drafted, are finally starting to develop, and they're putting together a pretty good season down there in Wilkes-Barre. So that's something to look forward to, and that's something to be very optimistic and positive about. But that doesn't change the fact that the Pittsburgh Penguins are a dumpster fire, and we're just waiting for the next colossal move to happen. We're just waiting. We don't know when it's going to happen, but we know it's going to happen. So we are just waiting for the next big move. And again, I have no predictions. I have no predictions of who's going to be gone next. At this point, it could be anybody, but I will tell you who's not moving, and I'll tell you that in the next segment. But first, we have to acknowledge one good thing out of yesterday's game. Sidney Crosby makes more history for the Penguins. This dude, when is he not making history? When is he not etching his name in hockey history? Making a case to be on the Mount Rushmore for this league all time. One of the 4 greatest players ever to live, Sidney Crosby. He did it again, guys. He did it again. He made more history. He is now top 10 all time in NHL history in assists. And he had a game yesterday. Sid continues to play out of his mind at his age, and this team cannot win. Gives him no help. No help. It's Sid. Doesn't matter. Raquel's going to score you goals. Brian Rust, when he's actually out there, he's going to do good things. Malkin has looked a little bit better lately. Bunting, still praying for that guy. Tomasino looks like he's going to be a stud. An absolute stud. He is strong on the puck. He scores crazy goals. He is hockey IQ. Kyle Dubas knows what he's doing. Guys, I'm not going to say anything bad about Kyle Dubas anymore because he knows what he's doing. He's bringing in guys that can be part of the solution. But that doesn't help Sid now. Sid's going to be retired before half these guys are even good or even ready for the NHL. So it's like the Crosby era is essentially ending. Like it already has. It's just a matter of accolades now. We have to pay attention to this stuff because this is what Crosby is going to finish his career with. This is how he's going to cement his legacy. His legacy's already been written. Now this is cementing it. Cementing it by continuing to rack up accolades, continuing to rack up awards. It might not be a Stanley Cup. It might not be anything in the NHL playoffs, but he can do these international tournaments like the Four Nations Face-Off. He can do the Olympics. Crosby could still play meaningful hockey. He is not trying to leave Pittsburgh. But the guys that he is in the company of now on this list, I mean, it's unbelievable. Like Crosby is top 10. We already knew this. Penguins fans, we already knew this, but look at that list. The names on that list, Sidney Crosby is in the best company you can be in. He was already up here in points. Now he's up here in assists. He's just, as long as we have Sid contributing and continue to put up numbers, I don't see the need to trade him. That's what everybody says. Everybody says he should be traded and that it's unfair to Sid. He has 3 Stanley Cups. Come on, guys. He has 3 Stanley Cups. Yes, it's unfair to Sid to not put a competitive team out there. But you know what's unfair to us? Our city? Trading the greatest player we've ever seen for scraps. That's worse. I would argue that's worse. So let me get this through everybody's skull. Sid will not be traded. He has said a million times he doesn't want to leave. He's going down with the ship. He is the best captain I have ever seen. He will not abandon us. We are a sinking ship, and Sidney Crosby will go down on that ship if it is the last thing he does in his NHL career. So let's stop with these bogus trade rumors like, let's send Sidney Crosby to the Avalanche. No. Would it be cool to watch him and McKinnon? I am not going to argue that. But Crosby is not going anywhere. And if he does, I will never forgive Kyle Dubas ever. Because this dude is one of the only players I can ever say this about. He deserves to wear 1 uniform for his entire career. What he has done for Pittsburgh, for the Penguins organization, for hockey history, for the next generation of hockey players that continue to idolize him to this day. They only know him as a Penguin. Let's not ruin that. Let's not tarnish Sidney Crosby's perfect reputation as the Pittsburgh Penguin. It's not fair to anybody involved. Crosby's not going anywhere, and I stand by that. I don't care what these analysts have to say. I don't care what the argument is for sending him to Colorado. He is not going to Colorado. We've seen the Penguins get in on some of this trade action this season. They traded Pettersson. They traded O'Connor. This is all from the article. But the team, it's still trying to get back in the playoffs for their core of veteran superstars. They've fallen well short of that and are well back in the race for the wild card. Are we just going to state facts of this article? Things are tough in Pittsburgh, obviously. We've seen rumors kick up and whether or not Erik Karlsson could be dealt, and lots of fans and other media are wondering if Crosby could land with a contender. Stop it! Stop! Like, it makes no sense. You guys are These analysts, I mean, Biz Nasty's been one of the worst. I love Biz, but he will not stop with this Crosby to the Avalanche for years now. Let's stop. Okay, Crosby's not going anywhere. Crosby's a Penguin for life. He wanted that. He's getting that. It doesn't matter how bad this is. All these young players are going to get an opportunity to play on this team in the next 2 years before we're good again. Sid is going to be part of them becoming the players they're going to be. He's going to be part of their development, molding them into NHL players, to men, because he's such a good leader of men. He's able to be this humble presence, this quiet confidence, this perfect example for these younger players to follow. He's going to lead us into the future. He's going to lead the next wave of Penguins. We can't trade him because he wants to chase another Stanley Cup, because he's never said that once. If that's what Sid wanted, I'm fine with that. But Sid doesn't want that. If Sid was saying these things, it'd be completely different, because we have to think about what he wants first and foremost. We have to keep Sid happy. And if that means leaving, then that's what happens. But he's never said that. We need him to lead these young men. That's all you can really say. Rock bottom doesn't mean you trade everybody away. The rumors might be that Letang's going to be gone. Crosby's going to be gone. Malkin. I've given you guys those. Those rumors have come out and I've talked about them. But this is different. I don't care how much lower we stoop. We are going to keep Sid, and we are going to keep Tanger, and we are going to keep Gino. The big three will be intact. Erik Karlsson, trade him. But the big three and Brian Rust, they're not going anywhere, guys. They're not going anywhere. We are going to get to watch them in one uniform for their entire careers, and that is something that is unprecedented in modern sports. With as much trading as going on, every sport, trade. You can't get used to seeing a guy in one uniform anymore. This is the one instance where we might. And Tristan Jarry's back. Maybe he goes on a run and starts playing well and gets traded and actually has some value. That'd be helpful. I don't know if there's enough time before the deadline. I think we're pretty much just content with losing at this point. And I'm content with it as well. I wasn't for the longest time. But guys, this is just what it's about. You can't be good forever. And we're to the point now where we realize we're not good, and we're accepting that. Let's lose some games. Let's get a better draft pick. And let's build for the future. And let's let Sidney Crosby lead us into that future. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Penguins Digest. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we'll see you tomorrow on another edition of Penguins Digest. We're on the West Coast this week, playing Colorado and Nathan McKinnon, playing Vegas, late night games. I don't blame you guys for not wanting to stay up and watch them, but I can assure you, I got nothing better to do than watch my Penguins win or lose. Let's go, Pens, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.